Thanks for joining us for our podcast today. This will be our fourth podcast this year. This year is Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwest Arkansas 25th anniversary. And for today's podcast, we actually have a special two-part episode. We're attending a Dream Big event at J.O. Kelly Middle School in Springdale. Now, if you haven't heard about Dream Big before, it's a student-led mentoring program through the Volunteer Action Center at the University of Arkansas, and it pairs women from the university through Big Brothers Big Sisters with the 6th and 7th grade girls at J.O. Kelly Middle School. So we're going to hear from some of the bigs and littles in the program about their experiences, but first we're going to talk to the brains behind the program, Angela Oxford. Hey, Angela, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Cold?
Yes,
cold?
Very
Ready
cold.
for winter to be over?
Yes, very.
Well, thanks for talking to us today.
I'm so happy to.
I feel like you have encompassed so many roles with Big Brothers Big Sisters, from executive director, working with the Volunteer Action Center and Dream Big, now a board member.
Yes.
So involved. What does Big Brothers Big Sisters mean to you?
Well, I absolutely love the program. When I first became a part of the program in 2005, it absolutely meant the world to me because I love mentoring, and mentoring is so powerful. But then I saw the relationships that were formed through Big Brothers Big Sisters. I saw the intentionality of the matching process, and that was amazing. I loved the stories that we heard from families. I loved seeing bigs and littles together, everything about it. And it meant so much to me. When I went to the University of Arkansas, it was important to me that we always have really good partners. And it was just natural for us to work with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And the opportunity arose to combine a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters and Dream Big, our program Believing in Girls. And it has been better for it ever since.
What year are we in now?
I think we started Dream Big in 2011 in the Delta, and we didn't have Big Brothers Big Sisters there, and didn't really have the capacity to do that. So I think it's been the last 4 years that we've been at J.O. Kelly, and the last 3 we've had Big Brothers Big Sisters on board with us. And so I don't know the year, but
that's okay.
They all meld together now.
I think it's 3 with Big Brothers Big Sisters at J.O. Kelly. Yeah. So you've been there since the inception, so you could probably explain it better than anyone. What is Dream Big?
Okay. Well, when I started at the university, I learned pretty quickly that it was important to have students engaged in all the planning, because then that just made for better planning, and it just students learn, and they're just such better process. And
buy-in.
Yeah, it was absolutely. And so we had been asked to do what was, typically called spring break, alternative spring break. And we had been asked to go to the Delta. We'd been invited, and we talked to the community about what they needed. We didn't want to just just go do service for service sake. And people said they needed support with technology. And so 2010, we took a group of students who loved technology. We went, and while we were there, we would ask the question, what do you need? What works? And people would tell us the things that were working in their community, but what they needed. And they all said, we need a program for girls. And the next year we came back, and we talked to people all year, and they identified a community called Elaine. And in 1919, Elaine experienced what is known as our nation's worst race riots over sharecropper rights. And over 200 African-American sharecroppers were murdered. And so Elaine is just a small, lovely community. They don't have a grocery. They have a John Deere store. And they don't have school. Their school closed. And so their children go to Marvel. But our students went and worked with a program called Together for Hope, and developed this concept of Dream Big. And they got there, and they thought they'd have girls, and they had 50 children show up, 18 months to 18 years. And it was a trailer in a field, and a lot of the kids came because we had food. And the girls did programming every day with them, and it changed everyone. And when we came back, the principal of Marvel Elaine had heard, or superintendent of Marvel Elaine had heard about what we'd done, and she called me and said, would you do this for our entire school? And I said no. I said, because you scare me. And so I talked to people I go to for advice, and they said, you have to do this. And we said yes, and we started going there and meeting people and hearing from them. The first time we went to Marvel Elaine, to the school, 20 girls were expelled over fighting over a single boy. And we were like, we got to meet that man. Like, we have to meet him.
He had the special sauce.
He was so special. And, the women were not excited about us, and they wouldn't look at us, and they wouldn't talk to us. And, we were like, oh, wow, have we done the right thing? But we kept going back. We had them come to us for spring break, and that's where they met their mentors. And we spent a week with them, and it was really powerful. It was really amazing to watch these young girls, many who were parents, many of the girls, 6th grade through 12th grade. Many had children back at home, but we got to see them be girls, and it was really special. The next time we visited the school, the girls had all their Dream Big shirts on and were literally hanging out the doors waiting for us to get there. So it was special. We were there 4 years, and it was so special. What we saw happen, we saw girls' infraction rates drop. So girls involved in Dream Big, we saw a 60% drop in their infractions. So girls learned to use their words. So no more fighting over boys, maybe a little, but more they were learning to use their words. We saw girls go to college. We saw girls, pick their professions. It was very exciting. But they had a grant that ended, and our women we just traveled a lot. And they said, we'd like to do something here locally. And so we ended that program and started meeting with people here locally. And we met Sarah Ford with J.O. Kelly. And we were hooked immediately, and we learned a lot. We learned so much about working with the school, the girls, their families. Their families have been so amazing to allow us the opportunity to be involved in the lives of their children. And Sarah Heimer, former executive director, and I, just over lunches, would say, wow, we need to do something together. And we just would talk and talk and talk, and finally we said it was Dream Big. It had to be that. And it took us a year to make it. I mean, we did a lot of finagling with everyone and partnership talking, and it was very exciting when it all came together. And it continues to be exciting, and we love it. And I say it, there are different things that happen in programming that make the programming better. That it's the partnership, it's the students that are involved, it's the expertise that is brought to the table. But bringing Big Brothers Big Sisters to and developing this program with you all has been a game changer. And I say that because just the matching process alone, I can see the women and the girls connecting in ways that we'd never had before.
That is hands down my favorite day of the entire year.
It's amazing.
Is when we match the girls in Dream Big.
It's awesome.
It makes me tear up.
Yeah, it does.
It's so inspiring. So what does Dream Big here at J.O. Kelly mean for the students at J.O. Kelly?
Wow. I love it when I'm out in the community and I meet people who know Dream Big. And I meet girls who've been in Dream Big. And I've been out places and I'll see a little girl and her family, and they're looking at me like I know her. And we figure out, oh, they're in Dream Big, and we start talking, and they talk about how important it is for their family. And I've really had the pleasure of meeting women who were impacted by Dream Big when they were girls, whether they're in college now, or there's a girl that was from the Delta that came to the U of A, Keisha McCall, and she's still very dear to me. And she was one of our mentors here. And then she's all grown up now.
That's my favorite, to see someone who used to be little come back and become a big because of the impact it's had on their life.
Absolutely. So I believe it's really what I see is I see the girls forming wonderful relationships with their big and creating that connection. And every time I'm here, I see the girls' excitement about being with their bigs, and that's really the whole reason we do it.
Okay, let's talk about bigs. A lot of times people volunteer because they want to help a child in our community, right? They have that heart connection. They want to do something. But what does it do to the bigs to be volunteers?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters I've always loved, is how powerful it was for the big. And I would see that. And, our women, it is absolutely transformative for them. And, the thing about service overall is you always think you're going to give so much of yourself. And most often you're more transformed by the experience of knowing and meeting people outside your comfort zone and meeting people that transform your life. Because you share stories. And I think for our women, I know our board, our women that plan Dream Big and implement Dream Big, for them, it changes their lives. It changes their trajectory. It changes their skill sets are expanded. They go through this amazing process where they're figuring themselves out and they're learning about what they want to do with their lives, and they become these really accomplished, remarkable women. Our women who are mentors do the same. They love their littles. They love the program. They tell people, you need to do this. And they're our best recruiting tool. But they recognize that they're getting so much out of it. They get a leadership development piece out of it because our women plan training for them. We want it to be more for them than just, I go to the school once. We want it to be that opportunity for them to get that in-depth training, but then also have the opportunity to come to the school other times on their own to continue to facilitate and develop that relationship with their little.
What's the future of Dream Big?
Wow, I don't know. Well, the students scare me, and because they do this thing, they dream big, and so we always joke in the office that if it doesn't scare you, you're not doing it right. And
the art teacher just told me that when I was setting up in here.
Okay.
She just said that.
Okay.
She goes, if you're not scared that you're doing it wrong or that you're going to fail or you're trying too much,
right,
you're not doing it
right.
Our
whole motto has been, that dreaming and dreaming big has a lot of power in it. And so the women have been meeting and having conversations about a request that we have had for years and years to craft a program for boys, Dream Big Boys. And we don't know what it'll be called. We have for years tossed around names as we've said, well, wouldn't it be great if we could? But this group of women said, we're going to do it. Now, and pretty quickly they learned, we need men at the table because this is part of the partnership.
A challenge.
Yeah, because they realized that they can't do this on their own. And so they've recruited some great men, men from the community, men from campus that are all really excited, really interested. And so they've been meeting and talking about what would this look like to have a men's mentoring program to boys that's a site-based program. I think it's very exciting. And we'll see what happens, but I think it could be a really special program. But the other thing is we need it.
We do. And I get asked all the time, how come there's not one for boys?
Right.
So it's exciting to me. I feel like I just got like a sneak peek.
Yeah,
like,
and
this could be coming.
It could be, and it's and it really is capacity. We have a really small staff, and the thing that we do is we mentor our students. And so every program has to have a staff member, so some of us run multiple programs, but every program has to have a staff member. And we have this amazing PhD student who is a graduate assistant who works with us, and she blows our mind. We love her, Brianna Hewitt, and she's done a remarkable job, and we feel so fortunate to have her. But, next year we'll have someone else, and, we'll see what the capacity is and how we can make sure we give that
It's
program
going to be tricky
everything.
too, the ever revolving door.
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
students.
But
you have an idea, and then 3 years later, there's somebody else who's going to try and carry it out.
But that's the thing I love about it, because the thing is that it is ever changing. And yes, they graduate. I think I've done so 12 years in. This is my 12th year at the U of A. They always graduate, and by golly, they better. So they better graduate. But the thing is that each year students put their fingerprints on the programming, and that's really cool. So
Somebody left their phone.
That's okay. But that part is really cool to see how different students create and put their mark on a program, and the programs are never stagnant.
No.
And wow, yeah. But we're constantly training. We always train, but that's okay, because we love it, and we get to know new students that are amazing every year.
Perfect. I feel like I could pick your brain forever.
Yeah, we could do this. Thanks.
We're going to do one on the board members, so I know I'll talk to you again. So
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
All right.
Thanks for listening in on our podcast today. And just a reminder, this is part one of a 2-part series. So we're going to launch the second episode about this Dream Big, where you can hear from Bigs and Littles themselves in 2 weeks. Every month this year, we will launch 2 podcast episodes with a bonus episode in December. You can follow our journey on YouTube, our Facebook page, our website, BBBSNWA.org. That's where we're going to post every new episode. In the meantime, if you have a story about a big brother or big sister you'd like to share with us, we want to hear how mentoring has impacted your life. Give us a call at 479-966-4366, or you can email us at enrollment@bbbsnwa.org.